Hello my fellow creators and welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to day 8 of my Spellbinders April 2026 All Clubs Create series. Well, it's the last day for the series, so we will be using the 3D embossing folder of the month, which is Yvette Creates, and it is this neat pattern there, and it looks like a bunch of crates, you know, the front of a crate maybe for strawberries or vegetables or maybe even some milk bottles. So this is what I use. Now I have gone ahead and prepped all my pieces ahead of time, but I also used the large die of the month, which is Market Taupe. So I used the milk bottle, and then I used the handle here as well as this piece here, and I'll show you how I use those in just a minute. I also cut out this piece that would make it a 3D kind of card. I'm not sure I'm going to use it, but I cut them just to be ready in case I decide to go with that. For my sentiment, I used the clear stamp and die of the month, and I used the sentiment that says life's better with you in my tote. So I used that, and then I also used this little edge die here from the small die of the month, or the stitching die of the month, I'm sorry, and I'll show you how I use that as well. So I brought in a lot of different elements from the crate today. All right, so like I said, I cut all my things out ahead of time. Now the cardstocks I used, let me start with these two. This was that same shimmery black cardstock I used in yesterday's card, and this was just something I had in my stash, so I'm not really sure I got that from. I used some blue vellum also from my stash, and then I used some acorn cardstock, some truffle, some wild berry, blush, classic white, and I also used some Merlot. So that's my little 3D pieces, as well as what I die cut or embossed with the 3D embossing folder. So I did do a little bit of ink blending, and I used my Distress Oxide inks. So I used ground espresso and worn lipstick, and I'll link to anything that's still available in the description box. And then I pulled in this dark brown shimmer pigment ink from Delicata. I have a few of these shimmery pigment ink cubes in my stash. I've had them for a while, so I wasn't sure it was gonna have ink in it still, but it worked perfectly. And then this was just some pattern paper, a panel I had in my stash. Don't remember from where, but I thought I would use this as kind of the background to my little die cut pieces. Now, as you can see, I die cut and assembled lots of milk bottles. So I made regular white milk, strawberry milk, and chocolate milk bottles. And I die cut 2 of each of those, and that's where I did my ink blending. So around the chocolate milk bottle and the strawberry milk bottle. I also cut a 3rd white milk bottle because I'm going to have this laying as though the bottle is spilling out, or it's kind of at an angle. And so I used some of that blue vellum for the empty part of the bottle. So I did that. Oh, and friends, I forgot to mention that border die that I used from the stitching die of the month. I used it here to cut off the top part of the white milk on this bottle that's laying on its side. So it has kind of a jaggedy edge as though the milk's like flowing down. So that's where I use that. And then here is where I used that Merlot, and I embossed it with a 3D embossing folder, and I used that Delicata ink here. See if we can see that shimmeriness. And what I did was I embossed the full panel, and then I trimmed it down to have these 2-inch pieces. And then with the scraps, I cut out like part of the handle. So I'll have handles there. And then I cut out some of these little 3D pieces. Now here is, oh, there's the lid to that bottle, milk bottle that's going to be tipped over. And then here's my sentiment. So the plan is, I want to put this as my milk bottle crate, and then I'll have my milk bottles inside of it, which is kind of why I think I want to make it three-dimensional. And then I'll have this kind of background layer behind there, so that looks like it's the back of the crate. And I'll stick in my milk bottles. So let me start with, let me think. I think I want it like this. Yeah. So let me get the back layer of the crate attached to my background panel. And again, that's just some pattern paper I had in my stash. And I'm using this dry adhesive so that I'm able to shift this if I need to, and I do. I put it up too high. So I can bring it down a little bit. And see, this is a little too wide, so I'll be able to trim that. Okay. And then this one's going to go here. I think I'm going to put it this way. Yeah. And, I wonder if I just used some foam squares instead of these pieces there, if that would, make it easier. Oh, let's just put on these pieces. I cut them already, so might as well use them. So they're going to go on the two sides and on the bottom. This time I'll remember to add some to the bottom. And let's see, I want it this way. So let me kind of lay this a little bit flat as I align it. Oh, I should probably make sure with the other side that I don't need to trim it, because I actually do. So let me trim this to match, and then I can add that other piece there. There we go. So I'm going to start by trimming this one down. And then I can trim this one. And I'm matching it up, lining it up here. All right. And that should work fine right here, I think. All right. Clean up that mess. Then I can add the rest of my little 3D pieces. Now that I have those attached, I could attach this here. All right, now let's get our milk bottles in our crate here. I think I'm going to do kind of, so there's some in the front and some in the back. See here. Okay, so I'm going to put my back layer first, and those I'm going to just put flat, no dimension. Kind of a bit taller, because then my front ones will go down a bit. All right. Too tall. Oh, I can't forget my handles here. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, and then we'll do some of the regular milk. Now, guys, let me know, did you grow up drinking a ton of milk? I know we did. My dad used to jokingly say that it would be cheaper if he bought a cow with as much milk as we went through as kids. And we just drank milk with everything. That's what we did. But I don't know, was that the norm or were we a little strange? So I'm going to go off this way. Yeah, I think that'll work. Let me try one thing here. I'm going to shift the back row over slightly so when I put my front row, it's a little better staggered, or staggered a little better. My words. Right there. I think that'll work. Ooh, yeah. I'm liking it. But on these, I am going to put some foam tape. So let me get my foam tape. Okay, so this one I think is the 1 millimeter. So I'll be using these so that it's not too super dimensional. And I knew when I saw this embossing folder, this 3D embossing folder, I was like, oh, I'm going to make that a crate that I fill with berries or veggies. But then when I was getting all my supplies together, I was like, well, why not milk bottles? You know, back in the day, not my day, but back in the day, there used to be milkmen that delivered the milk to your house in some crates. And they were in milk bottles. So I thought that would be a fun little use of the embossing folder today. Okay, so then I want chocolate over here. And then I want strawberry next. And then we'll do our white milk next. That looks good, right? Now I've got to get my handles on. So I think I'm going to attach them to the, should I attach them to the front layer or the back layer? Let me see, because that's going to go here, and it's going to go across. So I guess maybe the back layer. All right, maybe I didn't keep them long enough. Okay, I'm going to make them work. So let me get some more little foam squares on here. Or do I want them flat? Nope, I'm going to lay them flat because I'm going to put them as though it's behind my milk bottles. See how I change my mind all the time, guys? All right, so this one's got to go back here, right along the edge. And then this one will go on the other side. Right along the edge as well. And I think I cut them the right height on both sides. And this is going to be that bar across the top. So I'm going to trim this one piece and see it has that stitching detail. Oh, I love it. I love it. And I'm going to slightly curve this to go with the curve of that handle there. See if I can get it to the curve I want, to the angle. Oh, I like it. In fact, I think I'll just leave it like that. Yeah, that's it. That's the trick. Okay. Ah, I like the way this is turning out. Okay, now here's where I'm going to put my spilled or my tipped over milk bottle. So the lid's going to have to kind of be at the bottom. I like it. I like it. Let me get that on there. And this is going to be right here. And this I'll glue only behind where there's cardstock coloring covering that vellum. Okay. Ooh, I like it. Now, do I put the sentiment on the crate? Let's see. Oh, that looks cute. Or at the top. No, on the crate. It needs to go on the crate. On our little milk crate. And you can say, life's better with you in my tote. Oh, I like that. And it's three-dimensional here. It pops up. See the bottoms there? Have that little accordion die cut piece. Love it. Okay, let me bring that up a bit, and then we'll add this to our card base. So let's get this attached. And then we'll be done with this card, and then I can show you what I am giving away this month. Now, what I have decided to do for my giveaways, if I don't accidentally buy duplicates, I'm going to trim the card base, is go through my boxes of D-stash items and pick some goodies from there, which is what I did this month. Okay. And much better. I think I need to trim the bottom a little bit. Very little. Sometimes when I cut my card bases, I use that Michaels 110-pound cardstock, and it's not really exactly 8.5 by 11. So I end up with card sizes or card bases that are a little off. All right, friends, there we go. What do you think? Isn't that cute? I love it. There's our little milk bottle crate. And I like that I used that pattern paper in the background because I didn't want anything in the background to overwhelm my embossing folder panels here, my crate, and I didn't want it to overwhelm all our milk bottles. All right, giveaway time, or details about giveaway. So I'm going to move my card aside for now. I will be giving away 2 prizes again this month. And so I went through my stash and I pulled these 2 out of my D-stash boxes. So we'll give these away. So this is going to be Pixie Dust Designs, and it is It's Your Birthday stamp set and coordinating dies. Let me pull the stamp set out so you can see it. And I think it's really cute. I used it once, friends, just once. And so I thought, you know what, this needs to go to a loving home. So this will be one prize. And just like we did last month, you'll fill out a Google form. And on there, you'll make your selection of pixie dust, or here's our second prize. And this is Crafty Stamp Co. And it was one of their kits. So you'll choose either Pixie Dust Designs or Crafty Stamp Co. or both. Yeah, and that just means you can, you're interested in winning either prize. So let me show you the Crafty Stamp Co. I don't remember the name of this kit, but I used it once or twice. It came with this lovely spool of twine and ribbon. This stamp set, this cute little baker. This one is Pâtissier Meadow. And then this one, these little cute little biggies, is Sui Chefs. Also has this lovely stencil. And this one is a Damask stencil. Has this beautiful pattern paper, friends. It's one pad, but I separated it into two packages because at the time the sleeves I had weren't big enough to hold both, to hold the full paper pad. So let me show you some of the pattern papers. And let me pull them all out. Really cute pattern papers. All right, let's see. So here's a bunch of the pattern papers, and just look how pretty. There's polka dots, and then the reverse side is this pretty polka dot with blue. Here's some kitchen utensils, cooking utensils, and then this kind of like peachy pink polka dot. Some rolling pins, and that's a solid. These are like your flour, salt, sugar containers. That's a beautiful, what's it called? Houndstooth, I think. Look at that. I mean, the colors and the prints. Oh, this I think was my favorite. These aprons. And then you have these chef's hats and a solid red. So it is almost the full paper pad. In fact, it might be the full one because I had gotten a sample one to work with. I did some design team work for them. Yeah, this is the full paper pack, guys, because I had gotten a sample and worked with a sample before. I got the actual full paper pack. So this will be one of the two prizes you could win. So this one with a sugar and spice pattern paper, and then you could win from Pixie Dust Designs the It's Your Birthday stamp and coordinating die. And I will include the mesh bag with the Crafty Stamp Co. Kit. That way you can keep all your goodies together in here. But make sure you fill out the Google form. I will have it linked in the description box. And just make sure you select Pixie Dust, Crafty Stamp Co. or both. Actually, I shouldn't put both because you're not going to win both. I should put either. I'll put either on there because it'll be like a drop down that you can select. And so that's what you're going to do. And you'll put in your information. I will leave the giveaway form open until Friday. And then I'll draw 2 winners' names, and I'll do a real quick kind of recap video of the projects I made using the Spellbinders April 2026 All Clubs Crate. And then I'll announce the winners. Alrighty, friends, thank you so much for sticking around to the end. I'd be thrilled if you subscribed to my YouTube channel or followed me on any of my other social media platforms. As always, have a beautiful, safe, and creative day. Thanks for watching. Bye.